Hey everybody, welcome back to the Road to Pikes Peak. I'm Blake Fuller, and this week we wanted to share some updates as to how we're progressing with the vehicle safety requirements. Also take a little step back in time to VAR, where we had an opportunity to put some other racing drivers in the car and to watch their impression, and also wanted to talk to you a little bit about the logistics of what it takes to get the car to and from these events. So first off, let's talk about safety. So some of the requirements for any class at Pikes Peak include the following items: a fire extinguisher, a racing seat, a roll cage, proper safety harnesses, as well as the removal of airbags, interior, or any other flammable items that could be a problem for the driver. So what have we attacked so far? When we were at the out-of-spec motoring track, we had an opportunity to go ahead and install a brand new Sparco seat, which thank you very much, Sparco, for your support, and I can show you some of the features. Hey everybody, so we're actually up here at the North Carolina Center for Automotive Research, and you might notice that I actually have this really cool looking office chair behind me, which is actually not an office chair at all. This is one of our new seats, courtesy of Sparco, that's helping us out. So for Pikes Peak, safety is very important. And just want to take a moment and show you a little bit of what we're doing, because we're getting the car ready to go on track. And of course, Zach and Jesse want to go for a ride. So of course, we've got to put seats in for them as well. Let me just take a quick tour and show you a little bit about what we've got going on here. So this is the Sparco Pro 2000 seat, which is actually says Eco 2009, because this is from one of my previous race cars, the first hybrid race car that I had worked with Nissan to build in 2008 for the SEMA show. And this is a great example to show you the progression of technology, which is really what this project is all about. When we look at 2016, we went out with the Model S to Pikes Peak. This year, we're coming back with the Model 3 Performance. This is a good opportunity to look at how technology has changed in seating. So this seat, which is from about 2008, this is made of FRP, which is fiberglass reinforced plastic. And you'll notice that most seats, especially professional racing seats, are going to have an FIA certification. So what this means is that it's able to withstand a certain level of G-force impact side, rear facing, onward, and that keeps the occupant safe. Well, if you want to reduce weight, you have to add strength. So we've all heard of carbon fiber. It's a very expensive material. Sparco started using QRT, which is a reinforced polymer, which is a fiberglass and aramid fiber. So aramid is kind of similar to Kevlar or carbon. I'm not a material scientist, so maybe somebody can leave down in the comments the exact differences between them. But the bottom line is this. This particular seat, which has the full head support and is a very large seat, is actually about 7 pounds lighter than the seat I used in 2016. And while this is larger and safer, it's about 3 pounds lighter than a seat that I used back in 2008. So we've got lots of goodies we're going to get installed here. We've got some planted seat brackets, which are actually made for the Model 3 Performance, so we don't have to do any custom fitting. We also have some new 6-point harnesses from Sparco, and we've got some aluminum side brackets and rails that we're going to add everything together. So the next thing you're going to see is when this all gets put into the car. So we're excited to get that mounted. That way we stay planted, so to speak, in our seats, and we're able to hit the track. So let's go check it out. So besides the racing seat, which is very important for holding the driver in place, as well as being able to protect against any other types of impact. So for example, the safety of the seat is also very important if you were to back into a wall or happen to fall down the side of a cliff. That's not going to happen. But outside of the seat, there's also a fire extinguisher that has to be in place. That's something we have on order at this time, and we'll be installing after we do the roll cage. So where are we with the roll cage and also the interior items? Well, this last week, I've actually spent what would have been the equivalent of about 10 Now You Know episodes or Tesla Time News worth of time to be able to get the interior of the Tesla Model 3 out of the car. And we removed headliner, the entire carpeting, door panels, all of the airbags. And just as an aside, I decided at this point to keep the driver's airbag and passenger one in the car, but just to simply disconnect them. And the reason being is that the driver's side is in the center of the steering wheel, which aesthetically and for the Tesla brand, I felt like it was best to keep that in. For the passenger side, the weight of the airbag is about 3 pounds, so the effort to be able to remove it is a fair amount of effort. And this time, we're most focused on getting the cage in, so we might revisit that to save those few pounds, but at this time, we're not going to do that. The roll cage is going to happen hopefully this week. So we have a local builder, which is actually going to be visiting me in just a matter of moments to be able to go over the last details of where we should connect the roll cage, as well as other points that are very important within the rules. So the other item is when we went to out of spec motoring, and going to these different events, there is a lot of logistics to get a car to and from. Typically with a race car, you would just go ahead and put the vehicle on a trailer. You would tow it with an internal combustion diesel or gasoline engine, and you take it to the track and basically load everything into a trailer or to the truck and move it that way. With this program, we've actually decided to utilize the Model 3 as much as we can for the transits in between. So I want to share with you a fun clip of how much actually goes into packing the car. So what you're watching now is a time lapse of all of the items that I brought with me to the out of spec motoring track being repacked back into the Model 3 for me to drive back to Florida. And it was actually a little bit more than I brought with me because we had shipped the racing seat there. We had also shipped wheels and tires there. So I was actually bringing back almost 600 pounds worth of materials and goodies back to Florida with me from the out of spec motoring track. You look at all that stuff, it's like, it was, how do I put this? It was Tetris on a whole different level. Also, while we were up at the out of spec motoring track, a little bit afterwards, we went over to VIR, and I had an opportunity to put a couple of the Chin Motorsports drivers into the Model 3 for first impressions. Now keep in mind, these are guys who have their entire life been driving internal combustion cars. They've been racing them. They also are coaches, and they have a lot of experience, but they had yet to get into a Model 3, and the response from them when they came back was amazing. They were like, you know what? I was a little worried about the future, but now I'm excited. And that, I think, is part of this entire program and why it's so exciting to have the support of my Patreons, as well as to have the support of those who have put their name on the vehicle, and just everybody who watches this channel. It's part of a movement for how we can not only get more people interested that this is exciting and it's real, but also to get those who are traditional motorsports individuals into this foray, so that way they can share their knowledge, they can take new inspiration, new ideas, and the same things that were innovation that happened with internal combustion cars will help innovations in the electric vehicle space. This is just really exciting for me. When we talk about putting people into a Model 3 race car for the first time, or even putting Model 3 owners on the track, one of the areas that I am excited to share with you for next week, which make sure you subscribe, is Shane is going to bring his Model 3 Performance, the 2020 model, out to Sebring, where I had an opportunity to help be his coach for the day, to guide him around, as well as to give him some hot laps inside of the Model 3 race car. So it was really exciting to be able to do that. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and also make sure you check out my Patreon, which is Blake Fuller at patreon.com. And thank you so much to all my Patreons who have supported, and I appreciate it very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching Electric Performance. Please subscribe, share, and hit the like button.